Happy Wednesday, you guys. Today I am excited because we are going to start cookies. The cookie challenge began on Monday. Some of you guys didn't get in on time. You can't be part of the challenge, but that's okay. You can make cookies along with me here today. And this month we're going to be doing all kinds of things with cookies. Today we are going to make sugar cookie dough. This is my favorite recipe. It's a foolproof, pretty much foolproof, dough that does not require the chilling. It likes chilling, so if you have time and you want to chill it, you can totally chill it, but it does not require that. So we can just get right started with our rolling it out and cutting it out, which is my favorite part. Okay, I don't make sugar cookies that often. I only make them at Christmas time. They are not my favorite cookie to eat. Please don't shoot me for saying that, but I love them decorated for Christmas, and so I'm gonna make them today. First of all, I wanted to show you what I'm making. I got these from cookiecutter.com, which is this week's sponsor for our cookie challenge part of it. And they sent me these little, let me show you, I'm gonna get it close. Minnesota and Wisconsin cookie cutters. And I'm going to actually be putting them together like this to make a Minnesota cookie. If you guys know anything about Minnesota and Wisconsin, you understand what I'm talking about. Just for those of you that don't know, I live right about here in Minnesota, right on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. All right, so let's get started with these cookies. First thing you need, we don't need to chill this, but we do have to use really cold butter. So you're gonna use 4 sticks of butter, which if those of you, 4 sticks of butter is an entire carton. Good morning, good evening, Marlene. Oh, what's it, that Martine, sorry. I don't have my glasses on, and so I'm like, what's that? All right, so we're gonna start with 4 sticks of butter. Make sure you use unsalted butter. You don't wanna add salt to your cookies if you don't have to. I'm gonna grab a cutting board because I forgot to grab one beforehand. I was not as prepared. We all know I'm never prepared. Angelica, Tuesday, oh. Okay, so I did a Facebook Live yesterday. That's what's got me all mixed up. It is Tuesday, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Like, I want to get to Friday a little faster, but I have more time in my week. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. All right, so I have 4 sticks of butter. Mindy, salted or unsalted? Unsalted. I almost always recommend you use unsalted butter because you can add salt in. So this is unsalted butter. It's cold, and I'm gonna cube it and pop it into my mixer. I'm gonna use a stand mixer because you could use a hand mixer. It takes a little bit longer and it gives your dough a little bit more opportunity to warm up, which we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna use my stand mixer. And then the other thing with my stand mixer is that I'm gonna be using my paddle attachment versus my whisk attachment, okay? So that's the other thing we're gonna do. Jana, you're having a hard time accessing my laundry soap recipe? I'm sorry, I'll see if I can fix that. Hi, Becky. You wish you were making cookies? Oh, you're mostly working. Well, you can't be working too much if you're gonna watch me. Should have cubed those down a little bit better than that. I put them in a little too big. Hi from upstate New York. Hi, Vicky. Claire from London. Hi, Maria from, maybe you're tagging somebody, Maria. Heidi. Hi, Heidi. Hi, you guys. So you know what I found out yesterday, my poor puppy? You guys know Fitzgerald, the black and white one, has to go have surgery next week. My baby. I don't know why that makes me so sad. I'm just like, oh, what a bummer. So we're making sugar cookie dough right now. Hi, Michelle. Michaela. I think I said that wrong first. Well, welcome, Michaela. First time here. I'm glad to have you. Jana. My husband's a cutie. He is a cutie, isn't he? We've been married for almost 23 years. Really long time. Rafif, I hope I said that correctly. Hi, Rafif. All right, so I'm cubing this up, and I'm going to throw this in my mixer. So how many of you guys were around yesterday and checked out that laundry soap recipe? I couldn't believe how many people wanted to see how to make that. It floored me. Tanya, hi Tanya from Battle Creek, Michigan. I always love the name of Battle Creek, Michigan. I feel like you guys are like extra tough people or something. Plus you're from Michigan, it gets a lot of snow, so you kind of are extra tough people. You guys notice that I cut the butter different every single time I do it? I don't have a, I do not have a proper method, apparently. Okay, so 4 sticks of unsalted cold butter. I don't want to put it in the freezer because then it won't actually cream, but I don't want it to be warm. So we definitely don't want it to be room temperature. Jana, you watched it, thank you. Oh good, I'm glad. Jeffrey, hi Jeffrey. So my husband, we are peeling up the carpet. Since we moved here, we haven't really done anything in our upstairs. You guys know we just finished the entry, right? Well, we're already peeling the carpet up upstairs in our bedroom because it's been there since we moved. It's old and I don't even want to know what's in it. So my husband was just peeling it up and I had to run away because I was like, oh, I was getting the heebie-jeebies from it. But there's old wood floor underneath that carpet, so hopefully it's in good shape. That'll be fun. Tim, hi Tim, Tani, hi Tani from Sanford, Maine. Nice to see you here. Well, you know what I mean. All right, so we have got 2 cups or 4 sticks of cold cubed butter in here with the paddle attachment. We're gonna put in 2 cups of sugar. Where did I put my cup measurement? Guys, where's my cup measurement? Oh goodness, wait. 2 cups of sugar. Good morning from California, Rafif. We are doing foolproof sugar cookies because it's Christmas. It's time to make all the things. So 2 cups of sugar. This is the spoon in here because we use it for our coffee in the morning. Well, my husband does. He gives me coffee with real sugar in it, even though I always want honey. I want to be all healthy and have honey or maple syrup or agave nectar, but he always sneaks me real sugar. And I pretend I don't know, but I do know. Hi, Kelly. Good morning from California. Hi, Margie. All right, we're gonna let this go gentle for just a little bit, and then I'm gonna let it go a little bit harder. just to cream it up. That's why you have to go slow for just a little bit. Like otherwise it just blows everywhere. Hello from Indianola, Mississippi. Hi, Jessica. There we go. So something different that I do with my sugar cookies than most do is I use almond extract instead of vanilla. And then I add a little bit of a citrus zest to my orange cookies so that they're a little brighter. And I love that. Might not be your thing, go ahead and use vanilla and skip the extract if you want to. But it is, I think it's really good. Janice, hi Janice from Acton, Maine. A bunch of you from Maine. Nice to meet you, Janice. My sister lives in Maine. She's coming home for Christmas and staying with me. We have big Christmas Eve traditions in our house. I give everybody in my family Christmas pajamas. I've been doing that for like a decade. A lot of you guys do the same thing, but we've been doing that for, man, longer than a decade since my kids were small. So all of my siblings come to my house. They stay the night on Christmas Eve. They get pajamas. My husband makes coffee the next morning, Christmas morning. And the rule is that the presents cannot be opened until the coffee has been finished by all the adults. So when my kids were small, it would absolutely drive them bonkers because we would take as long as possible to finish our coffee. Hi, Colleen from Erie, Pennsylvania. Michaela, you love sugar cookies, just don't know how to make them. They're very easy. This is really easy. Don't get freaked out by this. Hi from Greece. What a lovely place. Martine, you made Christmas cakes this year with brandy. Are those what we call fruit cakes? Sounds really good. Patty, hi from Waterville, Maine. Another Maine. Michaela from Colorado. Denise from Ohio. You just made a pound cake? I love pound cakes. All right, so this is creamed up. Just trust me, it's creamed up. I was gonna try to figure out how to show you guys and I was like, that's not gonna work. Just trust me, it's been creamed, okay? So now that it's been creamed, we're gonna add in our eggs, our vanilla, all that good stuff, okay? So I'm gonna get my eggs from the fridge because they've been chilling, staying cold in there. My cold eggs, and now I'm gonna get my measuring spoon because you guys know I never am prepared when I come in. I just wing it when I come in, just like you would at home. I want to show you that these recipes actually work, so I do it as live as I possibly can. Hi Nancy from Tucson, Amy from Ohio. Okay, I'm gonna get my measuring spoon. Hold tight. Hold tight. Okay. So we need 2 eggs, and I'm gonna crack them into my measuring cup, into my measuring. No, I'm not, because I'm gonna use up the flour. Guys, pray that I don't get shells in my egg, in my butter, because I always do when I'm live. Okay, 1 without a shell. 2 without a shell. It's gonna be a winning day. Winning day, I win. We can be stopped right here. I am now a professional cook. Jerseyville, Illinois. Hi, Lawana. Aren't all ingredients supposed to be room temperature? They are, usually. But this recipe does not require you to chill it afterwards because we're using chilled ingredients. Michaela, it's cold there in Colorado. You're expecting some snow this week? Well, we have snow this morning. All right, so I'm gonna put in 2 teaspoons, 1.5 teaspoons of almond extract. Almond extract is quite strong, so I recommend you go with like 1.5 and just see how you like it because it can be very strong. Hi, Pa. Tammy from Welch, Oklahoma. Hi, Tammy. All right, so now the eggs and the almond extract are in here. I'm gonna turn it back on again. And let that go for a little bit. Then we're gonna add in our baking powder, our salt, and then our flour last. Okay, baking powder. We're gonna put in 3 teaspoons of baking powder and about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now reminder, we didn't put salt in our, we don't have salt in our butter. If you have salt in your butter, if you're using salted butter, take a pause and double check your dough before you add any more salt in because you may over salt by adding the salt back in. Diana, you're cooking along with you except you're making broccoli salad. I am so sorry. Broccoli salad or sugar cookies? I'm going with sugar cookies. Diana, nice and warm in Louisiana. That 77 sounds wonderful. What did I say, you guys? 3 teaspoons? Did I say? What did I say? 3 teaspoons. Stop distracting me, you guys. Ah, seriously, you can't do any baking with you guys around. 2, 3 teaspoons and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Seminole, Florida. Hi, Lena. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Reminder, if you use salted butter, check that salt before you add any more to it. Hello, nice to see you, Karen. All right, I'm gonna show you this real quick here. Stop! Can you guys see this? No, you can't. All right, hang on. So it's just a bright yellow color. That's from all that butter in there. Just all creamed up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my flour in. I'm gonna put my flour in little bits at a time. I'm using 6 cups of flour, okay? Because that's gonna help it not be sticky. One word of warning with sugar cookies that I see happen all the time. Do not use a butter substitute. You have to use real butter in sugar cookies because butter substitutes is what makes your dough get really sticky and not turn out the texture you want it to be, unfortunately. You gotta use real butter. Amy, you have so much to do and all you wanna make is cookies. I hear you, girl. Baking with cups is such a bad habit. Use a scale. This is an American girl. All I know how to do is use cups. I have tried to use a scale before and it messes me up. But I am determined to learn how to use a scale so that if they ever decide to allow Americans into the Great British Baking Championship, I'll be your girl. Hi from St. Louis, Rhonda. Hi, Carolina. Hi, Carolina. Okay, 6 cups of flour. Are we ready? Now, I want to tell you guys something. I am using, if you guys ever check this out, this is Bob's Red Mill's baking flour. It's a 1-in-1, so you use it straight up like you would all-purpose. I'm using this in these cookies, and I've used this many times before for baking because I am technically gluten-free and dairy-free. I do understand the irony of the butter, okay, but we'll just pretend that it's not there. Anyways, point being, I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to use this, and it really is really nice for texture. So it doesn't change the texture too much. So if you got people in your life that are gluten-free, I would surprise them and try making something with this, and you will you'll be pleasantly surprised, I think. Scales lie. Scales lie. We don't use scales, they lie to us. Amy, I like that answer. All right, 6 cups of flour. And yes, this is exactly when I should be using a scale for sure. I actually have a scale. One of these days I'm going to try it with a scale, just for funsies. All right, you guys, this is 1 cup. To keep track of those cups for me, I'm going to forget, and then I'm going to try to remember how many cups I put in, and I'm not, and I'm going to ask you. So remember. I like to do them one at a time because otherwise it just goes all over the place and makes a giant mess. All right, so those of you from the UK, you're gonna have to give me a lesson on being efficient with the scale because I need to do that. We don't, here in the US, our recipes don't even come in scale form. I'd have to convert all of the recipes into pounds and grams and all that good stuff. Oh, what a pain in the neck. Okay, ready? 2nd cup. All right. Laura, show flour above the messages. Oh, you can swipe away the messages. If the comments are getting in your way, you can swipe them down and you'll be able to see everything. Where are we at? 3 cups? 3 cups. 3 cups. Yes, I do. Mary. Mary, I am what they call a home cook. First of all, I make really, really good food. But I also don't do anything properly. Case in point, this is a liquid measuring cup, you guys. I grew up, I'm the oldest of 10 kids. My mom didn't know how to cook. I winged everything, and I've learned how to cook along the way. And there's also a lot of things I still do that are bad habits. But they've always worked for me just fine, so I haven't really fixed them. All right, we're at 4 cups. And this is when a scale, I think flour is definitely when I should be using a scale the most. Paul, should you try a dry measure cup? Yes, I should. I don't even know if I own one, to be honest. Wait. Wait, you guys have seen me use one before, haven't you? There's one around this house somewhere. Again, if these sugar cookies turn out for me, guys, I'm telling you, they're foolproof. Foolproof. You have to convert all the cup recipes to grams. Yes. Okay, so here's where I'm going to stop. And I'm going to get out a spatula because I want to make sure everything from the bottom is getting mixed in. 3 cups, convert all the cup recipes to grams so you get it. Yes, okay, there you go, yeah. Do you use one of those tools on the internet that helps? Carolina, yes, a dry measuring cup. Yes, I should be using a dry measuring cup. However, the thing of it is that I also feel very strongly that people who don't know how to cook, who don't know the rules, who don't know all of the tools, who don't have all of the tools, should be able to cook a lot of recipes. And if they can't, why would they ever learn? So I feel very strongly that it is important that people make cooking and baking as accessible as possible. So you won't see me get real proper because a lot of the people that I want to be cooking and baking don't know how to be proper. They don't even know what they're not doing right. And I don't want to make any of those people feel like they have to do everything right in order to cook. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because I sure didn't start out doing everything properly. I still don't do everything properly. What are we talking about? Your mom never did. She's that good. I am just that good. Right, Carolina? Hi, Jen. I do 5 cups. All right, thanks. I've got 5 cups in, he tells me. Martine, I never measure, but still works out. Absolutely. And the thing of it is when you get to this point, and it's gonna get kind of hard to work with, you're gonna want to use your hands. I know some people don't like that. This is where if you have children, yes, that was 5 cups. I'm gonna add in this 6th cup right now. I'm gonna add it in with my hands, okay? When you have children, this is fun for them. They love this, but you want to use your hands right here. So I'm gonna get my last cup with my plain old measuring cup, because the thing of it is if you go to the grocery store to buy a measuring cup, or you go to Target to get measuring cups, anybody that doesn't cook on a regular basis does not know the difference between all the measuring cups. They're just going to buy a measuring cup. And so we need to make recipes and have recipes that they can make and not feel stupid because they use the wrong measuring cup. Baking is exact measurements. It is and it isn't. So one of the things of baking is it's very much scientific, much more scientific than cooking is. There's a lot more exact measurements, but there's also the ability to kind of eyeball, particularly with dough that has so few ingredients, to eyeball it and know that it's too wet or too dry. So you have to start out with your exact measurements, like your butter, your sugar, your baking powder, and then when you get to this part where you're at the flour, you can kind of tell if it's too dry or too wet. And if it's too wet, you could add a little more flour. Again, baking, cooking, I want people to just try it. Don't get scared by it having to be perfect. You know, it's just sugar, flour, butter. You know, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna burn it? Not a big problem, so it's okay. Is it all-purpose flour? Usually I would use all-purpose flour. I'm actually using a gluten-free, which is a 1-in-1 flour from Bob's Red Mill. But yes, all-purpose flour. So those of you that are really good at baking and cooking, and probably making you guys cringe just a little bit. But just bear with me, because I want to encourage people that aren't into baking and cooking to get into it a little bit. What is all-purpose flour? Is that self-rising or plain? Plain flour, I believe, in the UK. Someone else help me out. All-purpose flour, I believe, is plain flour. Someone help me out with that. UK, what is all-purpose flour? Self-rising flour, do you guys call it bread flour in the UK? So I added baking powder to this. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. So we're at this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pop this in the fridge. It doesn't have to chill for very long because it's cold. I can feel it in my hand, it's cold. But I'm gonna pop it in the fridge just while I'm getting my pans ready and my counter ready, okay? And I'm gonna wash my hands because I don't like the dough on my fingers. My fridge is too full. I hate that when my fridge is too full and I can't fit anything in. How do you guys like the setup this time? Do you like it facing this way, or did you like it better the other way? Self-rising flour, plain, yes. Okay. I'm trying really hard to learn the comparables in the UK, but I still don't know all of them. You're awesome. Thank you, Amy. Okay. So now here's a couple other things. No, there's flour, especially for bread that's strong flour. Just to confuse the issue. Yeah, thanks a lot, Karen. Strong flour. You guys have a flour called strong flour? I want to try that out just because that name is awesome. Strong flour. Okay, so another tip with sugar cookies is the pan. First of all, you do not ever want to put sugar cookies on a hot pan. People do this all the time. I do this too. I'm not gonna lie. My kids do this. They're too impatient to get the next batch of cookies on. And if you don't have like 25 pans, you have 2 in your whole house, you're gonna be putting them onto hot pans. But you still want to give it time to chill out, to cool, because if you put the dough on the hot pans, it will immediately take that fat and melt the fat out, and they won't turn out very well, and it won't get the color you want. Okay. One of the things you can do is you can use parchment paper. Parchment paper helps the bottoms of your sugar cookies not get too dark before the color on the top catches up, okay? Patsy, love the color of my bottom cabinets. Thank you. Not too bright, good, good, good. You do too, it's all about how much gluten is in it. Yep, all of the gluten. Okay, got it. Where is my parchment paper? So I'm gonna put parchment paper on the bottom of these. 1, 2. I'm going to set these aside. For later. EU flour also has a different gluten content compared to the US flour. Interesting. You can see, I'm learning all kinds of things about the UK. Did not know. Or the EU, however you want to put it. Okay, next thing, I'm going to be rolling out the sugar cookie dough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out. I actually learned this from my pie challenge ladies. I didn't actually know this trick before, so I'm going to pretend like I knew it, but I didn't know it until like a month ago, okay? So, nobody tell anybody else that I didn't know this trick. Trickery! So I'm gonna roll it out between 2 pieces of parchment paper. And then my hands don't get sticky, and my warmth from my fingers, even though my fingers are cold because I have cold hands and feet, but my fingers don't get in the dough, and all is good. If you're doing a brioche dough, you need strong flour because you need gluten development, be stretchy dough. Strong flour, I never even heard that word before. That's awesome. Paul, have you heard that term, strong flour? Now I need to find out what strong flour is, plain flour is, and I think there's probably another. Is there a pastry flour in the UK? EU butter has a higher fat content. Really? Like, why? Dang it, I need to go and eat your guys' food, see what's going on here. My goodness. Okay, so I am actually going to do part of this dough. I'm not going to do all of this dough. I'm going to keep a lot of it in the fridge for later on when I do all of my cookies. I just want to show you how this works out. So I'm going to just take a big old pile of it. So I got like a pile. This is like Play-Doh for like the best kind of Play-Doh. I'm going to pop it in, put it into like a little bit of a sphere. Can you guys see? You can. Okay, good. Reminder, if those comments are in your way, just swipe the comments out. We need to take a baking trip to the EU. We totally do, don't we? And where, you guys, where did I put my, ta-da, I found it. I still can't find anything in my kitchen. Strong flour is 0. I don't know what that means. Yes, let's do it, Heidi. Yes, strong flour is bread flour with a high gluten content. Okay, yeah. France, did you miss anything? Everything, pretty much. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm gonna roll this out. Start from the center and work your way out. Now, there are rolling pins out there that have little bands on the edges of them to help you know that everything is a consistent thickness. But, of course, we've all established that I just use whatever I have on hand for what I need. So, I don't have that rolling pin. However, I gotta show you guys what I got. Okay. So I like my sugar cookies, I think they should be a little bit thicker than what most people do so that you get a really strong cut out of it if you're making shapes. If you're not making shapes, then the thinner they are, sometimes the little more buttery and cracky they are, and that can taste really good. But if you want to decorate them, make them about 1/3 of an inch in thickness. You like the roller. This is a Pampered Chef roller I've had since we got married. So 22 years. So I'm gonna go just a little bit longer here. Okay. Let's see how this says. Amy, this would be a good recipe for you to try. Watch the replay when she's done. Yes. Amazon. Yes. Amazon probably, yes, Amazon does carry Pampered Chef. Okay, so I'm going with just the center there. So I'm at, I don't know if you guys can see. You guys can see the center. Probably around 1/3 of an inch. Before we go anywhere, I'm going to show you rolling pins. Guys, just a sec. Look at what I just got. It's a patterned rolling pin. How cool is that? Okay, so now here's the other important bit. Thickness. Keep it nice and thick. You're gonna use as much, like a kind of like a puzzle, trying to use as much of that dough as you can, so you don't have to scoop it up and re-roll it. We want to avoid that. Okay. So then I'm gonna take my cookie cutters. Important thing to do is make sure you're using the right side. First of all, they come in different, they have a little bit of an edge. Make sure you're using the one that does not have that. And then you want to dip this into flour, because that will help those shapes come out really strong. Okay, so I'm gonna just go right in the center. And then every single time, dip it back into flour. And kind of try to do a little bit of a puzzle piece so you can get as many as possible. Ooh, I remembered. I'm using Wisconsin. Wisconsin! There's Minnesota. Here's Wisconsin. Flour. There. Okay, so I'm only going to make these 4 just... No, never mind. I lied. I'm having too much fun with these cookie cutters. Hang on a sec. I love cookie cutters. I love cutting dough. I actually don't really like making dough. Making cookie dough is not my favorite thing. But playing with cookie cutters, it feels like you're playing with Play-Doh. I love it. Super fun. Okay, then you're going to take your pan, peel away your dough that you didn't cut. Don't put it back in with your other dough. So I'm not putting that back into the bowl because I don't want to, I just don't like to do that. Can you use all-purpose flour? Yes, you can use all-purpose flour. Absolutely. I'm just using gluten-free because I wanted to do gluten-free. Some of my family is gluten-free. And so I wanted to be kind. All right, and then the other thing I would really recommend is, if you can at all, someone needs to gift me with proper kitchen tools. I'm gonna use a spatula or some sort of a scooper to pick up your cookies and then set them on your cold pan. I'm putting that in flour. On your cold pan, and then give them space in between because they might spread out just a little bit. Cold pan. The other thing you can do is, if you are making delicate, like if you're making sugar cookies that have lots of little intricate cuts, put this back in the fridge. After you've cut the dough, put it back in the fridge, because it helps all of those little intricate cuts not spread into each other when they're baking. So that's important. Important. If you're doing a really intricate design, put it back in the fridge. Or if you're like wanting to sell them or do something really special with these and they're not just for your family, pop these back in the fridge for like 10 minutes and you'll see a much better results on your cut. Okay, so first I wanted to show you the thickness of my cookies. You guys see how thick those are? I think that they need to be pretty dang thick. Okay, so I'm gonna pop these in the oven. It's a cake slicer. the job. This dough tastes amazing. Who's making, Mindy, are you making dough with us? I forgot to put the orange peel in. Guys, why are you guys not keeping track of me? Somebody needs to keep track of me a little better than this. Jiminy crickets. Guys, the orange peel makes a big difference. It really does. It brightens the whole thing up. Okay. If you want to redo your dough, don't handle it very much. And then just go at it. This second batch, like this one, for sure, put it in the fridge if you can. So put it in the fridge after you've cut it, pop it in the fridge before you put it in. If you want the cookies to not spread, you pre-bake the dough as a sheet and then pull it out and cut it. Yes, you could totally do that and then bake them until they're done. So you pre-bake it for like 5 minutes, cut it, put it back in to finish it. How's the work coming on your house? Always like to see updates. The work is going well. We are now facing my kitchen because we have put a blind in and we are finished. Although right now we are upstairs in my room pulling out carpet, and I'm going to be refinishing the wood floor upstairs. So I'm looking forward to that. I like wood floors because I think they feel nice and clean. And you know, when you have an 1880 house like we do, wood floors are just what you should have, you know? So I want to know, does everyone feel like they could handle this recipe? Like you feel like, those of you that have been scared of making sugar cookies, do you feel that if I can do it, that maybe you can do it too? I hope so. And I want you to hang out because I want to show you these cookies so you can see that they hold their shape and they still look good. Okay. More Wisconsin. I'm gifting these little Wisconsin, Minnesota cookies to some friends. I've got some friends where she is from Minnesota and he is from Wisconsin. So I thought it'd be super cute to give them little Minnesota, Wisconsin heart cookies for Christmas this year. So that's kind of my whole purpose of these. Mindy, you are but kind of behind. You used lemon zest, didn't have an orange, thought you missed. You did not miss me adding it. I forgot it, and I'm so bummed out about that. Ugh, I did not plan this one correctly. Hey, hi Brenda, happy Tuesday. Nice to see you here. I'm gonna reuse this dough. And I am going to pop this one into the fridge because it's been hanging outside just a little too long. So I'm just going to pop it in while the other ones are baking. And then when that one comes out, that'll be about good enough. You can kind of tell it's been hanging out too long because it's getting kind of loosey-goosey on me. You don't want that to happen. Now, if you have children and your children are helping you, you're probably going to end up using a lot of flour because they're going to be sticking. It's going to be sticking to everything. So if you find that it starts to get a little bit stiff, go ahead and add a little bit of water to it because that will help. The other tip is you could try using cocoa, and it adds a fun little flavor to your cookies. All right, so I just did these, but I'm gonna pop these in the fridge to cool while I work on the fridge that does not have any space. There's too much food in there. Carolina, you're making Russian tea cakes. Oh, I haven't made Russian tea cakes in a long time. Those are so good. Prince, of course, if you can make it, I will be able to make it, but not the cutters you are using. No, you don't have to use the cutters I'm using, though. One of my favorite things to do, hang on a second guys, is to use, canning lid. Use a canning lid, and then you use regular sugar cookies, and you cut the sugar cookies into circle shapes, right? And then you only have to use, let's see if I have any. Grab this cheap old decorating icing. that you can get, so you don't have to make any. Making some is easy, and I'll show you how to make royal icing on tomorrow. But grab this, and then you take this shape and you make it look like a little ornament. It's really easy to do. I don't know if this is any good. And I can show you more on Thursday, but you're just gonna make a little rectangle on the top, and that's gonna be your little hanger, and then just make little circles all over it. And if you have, and it looks super charming. And so you don't have to have a lot of skills with sugar cookies to be able to, or a lot of tools to be able to make something really cute if you want to. Square, if you want to cut square, and then you can turn those squares into presents with just some simple stripes across the square. It's very easy. It's time consuming. I don't want anyone to tell people that it's not time consuming, because it is time consuming to make sugar cookies and to decorate sugar cookies. It is. It takes some time, but it's not hard, and it just requires a little bit of patience and a little bit of forgiveness if you make mistakes, because that's okay. Yeah, you're welcome, Prince. All right, let's see. How are we doing? We got about 5 minutes. These take, depending on the thickness of your cookies and how big they are, they take between 12 and 18 minutes. The trick, of course, is that parchment paper and that cold pan. That's what's going to help it so that the bottoms don't burn before the tops get nice and brown. And we don't want them too brown because we are going to decorate them, and brown cookies don't look good. So you want them to just set, and then that's it. Because I'm going to decorate. These I'm going to decorate on tomorrow, or Wednesday, or Thursday. My days are all mixed up. Whatever day it is. We're going to make royal icing, and then we're going to decorate. I'm going to show you how to flood cookies with royal icing. It's very easy to do. Otherwise, okay, I was going to tell you guys something. What was I going to tell you? It was something important, as usual, that I forgot. Oh, we are tearing out I told you this. We are tearing out the carpet in my room upstairs. And I am refinishing the wood floor. Right now, there is plywood all over the wood floor that they put down before they put down the carpeting. And they created like this little step up into our bedroom. So I'm really nervous as to when we take up the plywood, what's under there. It's supposed to be wood floors, but are they in good shape or not? Ugh. The cookies should be in the oven. Depends on how big you make them and how thick you make them. But I'm going to say around 14 minutes. I'm going to show you what they should look like. They should be a little bit brown on the bottom, and they should be set, meaning that they kind of crackle just a little bit. I'll show you, okay? It's a kind of a practice thing. You got to kind of do a few batches before you get it right. Luana, poke a hole in the top with a straw before you bake it. Then use pull and peel licorice as a string for the kiddos to hang it on the tree. That is an adorable idea. I love that idea. Did you guys catch that? To make sugar cookie ornaments. What was I going to say? I use these sugar cookies sometimes for place settings at the table. So I'll handwrite somebody's name with just that easy icing, you guys. Somebody's name on a cookie, and we put them on the plates, and they make super cute, whatever they're called, name cards. Yes, wooden floors are amazing. Carpet gets dirty and you can't clean it properly. I know, and with 2 dogs, I'm telling you. So right now it's just plywood up there. I'm hoping to take some of that up tonight, actually, and see what we got. I could be the stupidest thing ever or brilliant. I don't really know yet what's gonna happen, but yeah. So I was gonna ask you guys how many of you guys have made sugar cookies. Shoot me a heart or something to let me know if you've made sugar cookies before. If you've made royal icing before, and a lot of people haven't used royal icing before. I think it's scary, maybe. And then the other question I have is, I have 2 versions of the same recipe. One uses meringue powder and one uses egg white. It's the same recipe. How many of you get freaked out about egg whites in your icing? Because these are going to be gifted to someone, and I would hate for them to watch this and find out I used egg whites in the icing, and that freaks them out. So you are doing the entire house. Yes, over time we'll end up having done this entire house. So we're hoping to have the bulk of it finished by my son's graduation, which is next summer. And so we're trying to get the main areas, you know, the main entertaining areas done. So we have the kitchen done, pretty much done, the dining room done, we have the outside done, we have living room done, we have like painting some bathrooms and things like that. And now we're starting to get to our spaces. So our bedrooms haven't been touched, and they're pretty bad. So that's what we're working on. And then I have some things to do in the bathrooms, but it's starting to get a little bit easier. We eat raw dough, so I don't know why egg white is weird. A lot of people get weirded out by egg white. I don't know why either. We're gonna go with it. Odds are they're not even gonna know. But it's just easier than meringue powder. You gotta nibble on it while you make it. Well, yeah, because you gotta taste and see if it's any good, right? Okay, let's see how these are. Ooh, these are pretty dang close. Let me see. Pretty dang close. You can also smell it when they're done. I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes. 2 minutes. People are funny acting, Carlina. Yes, they are funny acting. I know, right? So anyways, that is, I'm actually excited about that. Isn't that a weird thing to be excited about? Patsy, you made the cookies with self-rising flour and cut the baking powder and salt. Okay, yeah. So you took out the rising agent and used the flour instead. And how did that work out for you? I would love to know. So I don't actually use self-rising flour unless like a brand is asking me to do it, because I always use plain flour, AP flour, and then add in my own rising agents. But I know a lot of people who love using self-rising flour. They think it's super efficient. For me, it feels like I'm always having to do the math in my head with recipes and how to do that, and I just don't do that. But anyways, I feel like I'm just yapping at you guys because we're waiting for cookies to happen, and I don't know what else to say. I was going to tell you something else. Oh, my husband. Okay, so upstairs in our bedroom, we're taking up the floor, and then we only have one tiny little closet. So on the entire one half side of the wall of the room, I'm putting an entire built-in. So I have all of these. This is strange, but you know how you go to on the side of the road, or you go to garage sales, and they have like random old pieces of furniture that are they're not bad, but they just don't match anything, and they're kind of wonky. So I've picked up about 5 of those kinds of pieces, and I'm going to put them all along the wall, and I'm going to use trim and paint to trim them all out and paint them to make them look like one giant built-in. I don't know if it's going to work. Fingers crossed. To give us more storage, to give that room more character. We'll see what happens. But so I have this little collection of random bits of furniture that's been picked up in the last like 3 months. Patsy, you worked good, but you're gonna try this. Yeah. Why do we use baking powder since we don't want the cookies to rise and they're relatively flat? That's a good question, actually. I don't know why. That's just because that's the way my grandma always did it. I don't think we have to use baking powder, do we? I'm going to try it sometime without baking powder, but I imagine you're absolutely right, because we don't want to create that little hump on them. We want them to be perfectly flat. Huh. That's a very good question. I will ask my grandma, and she's going to say that's because that's the way they always did it, because that's what her answer is for everything. That's how it's done. I'm just like, why, Grandma? Why? Why are we doing it that way? All right, I'm gonna pull these. So I'm gonna set these right here so you guys can see. If you can see, this one's got a little bit of browning on here, and that's how I know these are done. This one is a little thinner on that edge than the other side. But yeah, there's a little bit of a humping there that wouldn't be there if we didn't use the baking soda, perhaps, or the baking powder, perhaps. But other than that, you can see that they're flat. So my grandma is right. I just don't know what the answer to that question is. Okay, so you can see that these held their shape really, really well. Again, if you're going to use a delicate cutter, put them in the fridge first so you don't get any spreading at all, and you get really nice defined edges. But these are I'm gonna sit here, let them cool for 3 to 5 minutes on the pan before I take them off the pan and set them aside to cool. They have to cool completely before you decorate them, completely. Use baking powder or you will have hockey pucks. Oh, so for the texture for tasting. Oh, so that they rise, give you some air, and they don't taste like. Gotcha. Okay, did you get that? I don't have to ask my grandma. Oh, without my baking powder, they would be hard and tough. There we go. Good. See, this is why we have people that know the answers to some of these questions. I know the answers to lots of questions, but not all of them. You can't know answers to everything. Although I don't tell my kids that. They're teenagers. They need to think I know the answers to everything. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna let these cool off completely, and then tomorrow or whatever day it is, we're gonna ice them. Now I will say that when you're gonna use royal icing, I'm gonna actually be making some of these today that are larger. These are the larger version. They take longer to cook. They're a little bit more tricky to watch the thickness so that center cooks and the outsides don't burn. But they are a little bit better to have these larger cookies if you want to decorate, because these are very, you have to be very precise, and I'm not that great with my icing skills, so I don't like to do anything super small. So I'm actually going to do some of these larger versions to give me more ability to ice. All right, anybody have any questions? Although I think you guys might know more answers than I do. If we haven't already established this, I am a home cook, and my one and only job is to get other people to cook. That's it. I don't know that Food Network's gonna have me come on anytime soon as an expert in baking science. Probably not. But I would be fun, guys. All right, so tomorrow I'm gonna show you how I make my royal icing. If you've never made royal icing before and it scares you, come on tomorrow. You're gonna be really, really relieved that it isn't as difficult as it seems. It's actually really simple. And it is probably the best icing that there is. And I'm making a bunch of it because I'm going to be making gingerbread cookie house here soon. Not a house, something else. And I want all the stuff saved for when I do that. But come by tomorrow, all right? All right, talk to you guys later. I'm going to go give these to my husband because he's going to be very happy to have some cookies. Bye, guys.